What's going on, guys? Unknown Player here, and today in this video we're going to be looking at my level 400 hunter and basically going through his complete inventory, looking at some of my favorite weapons and armor to use on my hunter in terms of exotics and legendaries and how I've got them set up. Also, we're going to be looking at some of my really cool and unique setups for certain items that you see as well, which combine for really good perks with different loadouts. So this will sort of be a behind the scenes look at my main character, all of his gear, which I never actually explain, and should hopefully answer a lot of the commonly asked questions about things that I use, like what the roles are, where I get certain items from, why I use one thing over a different thing. So let's take a look at my hunter. Beginning with the subclass, of course, we use the BLADEDANCER mainly for PvP, and this is my actual loadout. This is pretty much the best PvP setup for the BLADEDANCER, in case you're wondering. Got skip grenades, of course, the better control so you can move it super quickly, vanish so you can go invisible when you pop your blade, fast twitch, which is pretty decent for blink strike. Quick draw is basically the best perk in this entire tree. It lets you basically have the quick draw perk on every weapon, which is really good. And also Hungering Blade, which lets you heal when you get a kill with your BLADEDANCER. I don't really use the Gunslinger all that much. I've pretty much put it to the side unless it's like a long range trials map. I sometimes use it. I'm always about the BLADEDANCER these days. And of course for PvE, I'm always using the Night Stalker. It's probably the best option you can use. Now, looking at some of my favorite weapons on my hunter, we've got firstly the Outbreak Prime, which is probably my favorite weapon and favorite exotic or thing in general about Rise of Iron. I think this thing is so awesome. It's just the real definition of an exotic. It looks cool, it sounds cool, the way you get it is very unique, the quest is awesome, and on top of that, it's actually a really good weapon, would you believe it? It's actually an exotic that does perform very well. It's got bonus fallen damage, it's got the nanite swarms, it's got outlaw. It's an amazing weapon, definitely one of my favorites in Rise of Iron, so they did an amazing job on this one. We've got the Raid Pulse Rifle, which is probably my favorite legendary version. It's very similar to Outbreak, but of course doesn't have the swarms, isn't as good, but it's still very decent for damage, especially to the fallen. So I pretty much use this if I'm using an exotic sword or something like that. We've got the Ace of Spades, a very cool hand cannon for PvE as well. The Clever Dragon, of course, the PvP Beast. We've got the Dis 47, which is probably my year 2 favorite weapon to use in Crucible. Haven't used this thing in a while, but I probably will use it sometime soon in Crucible and see how it performs in year 3. We've got definitely one of my best rolled weapons in all of Destiny, the Finale's Peril, which has got an incredible set of perks. We've got Rangefinder, Rifle Barrel, and also Luck in the Chamber, and even True Sight. It's just an absolute beast, so definitely a very good hand cannon, although I don't use it all that much these days. And also finally, my Fatebringer Scout Rifle, which is also very cool as well. We've got the Ex Machina, which is the Raid Sniper, absolute monster for PvE, and also the Saladin's Vigil, which is very good in Crucible. I should probably do a video on this thing soon, but this thing is probably one of the best fusion rifles you can get, and it's absolutely amazing at melting shotgun rushes, which is pretty funny. We've got the 1000 Yard Stare, my classic one from pretty much year 2. This LDR is probably my new favorite legendary sniper, very good handling. It's got all the quick draw perks and snapshot, outlaw, just a very good handling sniper, and of course the best short case 10 scope. We've also got the Matador, which is pretty much my go-to shotgun for Crucible. This one is a very good roll. We've got aggressive ballistics for auto to fire thing really quickly, reinforced barrel for the increase in range, and crowd control for the increased damage. Once you get one kill, it makes the next one a little bit easier. So very good shotgun, completely disgusting weapon. And next up, we got the Event Horizon, which I use as a high impact sniper in Crucible if I want to take down some supers. Now into the heavy, we've got the machine gun, which I sometimes use against bosses if I'm not using an exotic sword. This thing is really good at shooting at crit spots. And the Silver Dread, which is probably my PvP go-to machine gun. We've got the Dart Drinker, which is very good in the raid against Axis. And also the Raise Lighter, which is definitely up there in terms of my favorite weapons of all time in Destiny. And of course the Truth, which is very good in Crucible as well. Now in terms of my Ghost Shells, I've got quite a unique setup here in terms of pretty much every perk that I could ever use. So this one is basically a 100% roll Dead Orbit Shell, which you got from, I believe, a Taken King quest back when it was first out. And this thing's got 100% roll, it's got perfect perks, and it's Intellect Discipline as well. So this one basically gives me bonus spin metal anytime I walk over an engram in the Plague Lands or Cosmodrome. It works in both of them, which is really nice for extra materials. And also some glimmer for killing any fallen, which happens quite a lot in the Plague Lands and in general in Rise of Iron. So this thing is a very good shell, and I've essentially got one for every single race in PvE. So I've got one here for the Taken that gives me bonus glimmer for them, and also bonus engrams from the Dreadnought, which are 2 locations that kind of match each other. These 2 are both kind of RNG dependent, so you need to get 2 that match. We've also got the Vex and Venus. We've got the Hive and the Cosmodrome, which are kind of close. You do see quite a lot of Hive in the Cosmodrome, and Cabal on Mars. So these are pretty good shells in terms of PvE, and in terms of Crucible ones, I've got one for Intellect and Strength, one for Intellect and Discipline, and also Discipline and Strength. So they're all matching whichever kind of like stat rolls I need for my character. And there's also the Ghost, which I'm just keeping around as a collector's item from the festival event. Now, looking at the armor pieces, I get a lot of questions actually where this is from I guess, new players who weren't around during Year 2. And this is actually the Year 2 Iron Banner helmet for PlayStation players. It was very strange, but back then they actually had a full set just for PlayStation users that was kind of exclusive in addition to the normal set. And that was for the Hunters, which I really like the look of. We've got the Flaming Mask from this year's festival event, and also the Flaming one from last year's, both very cool looking items. We've got the Charles helmet, also the Dream Eater from Archon's Forge, the Graviton Forfeit, which is still definitely one of my favorite looking hunter exotics in the game. I just love how it looks with the kind of purple energy coming out of the mask. It's definitely a very cool design, and probably my favorite in terms of all the hunter armor pieces, and also the raid helmet over here. Now, in terms of gauntlets, I've also got a pretty cool setup as well. I've basically got 3 sets of Shinobi's Valve for every single weapon I could use. This is basically the best and kind of only good exotic for hunters, and of course the BLADEDANCER. The thing is just crazy. So I've got this one here, which is Pulse Rifle Reloader and Shotgun, which is my kind of primary set I use. We've also got this set, which has the Hand Cannon and also Shotgun, and this final set over here, which has Scout Rifle and Sniper. So pretty much any weapon type I could use, and this is basically my best attempt at trying to make the Ophidian aspect for the hunter so I can reload any single weapon really quickly. We've also got this set, which is from the Year 2 Trials. Really cool with the little chroma thing on the wrist there. This is for sniper reload. We've also got this set with Hand Cannon, and I guess these are kind of like alternatives if I was to ever use something not Shinobi's Vow, which is probably never going to happen, but there you go, it's alternatives. Also got this pair for PvE, which are very good for heavy ammo, and of course the Pulse Rifle Loader, which works well with Outbreak Prime and the Raid Pulse Rifle. And finally this set, which is from Trials, which have really bad perks, but I do like the look of them, so I keep them around. In terms of chest pieces, we've got some general ones with good perks for what I tend to use. Nothing too special here. And boots again, this is pretty much my go-to set. The Trials armor from Year 2 with Second Wind, Rocket Loader, and Insect Discipline. And then for PvE, I'll always use the Bones for loads of increased mobility. We've got this cloak right here, which is pretty much my go-to one. This is also part of that PlayStation exclusive Iron Banner set from Year 2, so they actually match. And this again is not available anymore. We've got the Lion's Vigil from Trials, the Dead Orbit exotic one, all 3 Flare Mantles, which I love the set of, also the Tanit's Cloak, the Makeshift Scarf that's really cool that's in Year 3, and of course my classic Shattered Vault Cloak, which I've never gotten rid of. Hopefully they'll do a remake of the Vault of Glass, and this will be in Year 3, but there you go, that is a really cool Vault of Glass Cloak from Year 1. In terms of artifacts, I've just got all 8 of them, the new memory ones, which I don't think anyone ever used any of the other normal artifacts anymore. I mean, these are free perks, so I guess you'd be stupid not to. In terms of one that I use, it's pretty much always the Memory of Yoda artifact. I really like it for the movement, and I've had it non-stop on since the beginning of Rise 1. I've never taken it off. That's pretty much the only one I ever used, to be honest. Now, in this bottom page, we've got the Timebreaker Sparrow, the Broom from Festival, which I'm not getting rid of, the Yellowwing, the Trial Sparrow, some horns over here, the ships. So the shader I'm pretty much always using, which a lot of people ask about, is Barrier Ethos. So you buy this from Eva. Pretty simple. Just go over and buy it from her for some glimmer. Also got the Queen's Web from, I believe, Prison. Got some Dead Orbit ones, Bit of Steel and Revenant, which look pretty cool. Love a kind of leopard print on Revenant. It's always a really cool design. There's also Super Black from the Festival event. A lot of people ask about Krokos, and this is actually from Sparrow Racing last year, so I guess it's not available anymore, but I'm pretty sure they'll do it again this year. I can't see why they wouldn't include these shaders again and add some new ones, but this is from Sparrow Racing in case you're wondering. And then we've got Blacksmith, which I guess you only get from events like E3 and Gamescom and stuff like that, or unless you won the giveaway or bought it from eBay from someone who did go to those events, but it's a pretty rare shader. My emblem is the Sign of Opposing Will from one of the first Bungie bounties I was in. We've got the original Hunter emblem, definitely one of my favorites, the new Scarab emblem, the old Year 1 Flawless emblem. This Union of Light is pretty much the new Blacksmith shader they give out at events like PAX and E3 and Gamescom. If you actually queue up to play the games, they'll normally give you one on a little piece of paper after you play, which is pretty cool. This Sign of the Elders is from the beta, the Resurrection is from the recent Halloween event, you get this one from supporting the Bungie Foundation charity, and I'm pretty sure this one is also similarly tied to the Bungie store. Now into the inventory, I don't think there's much to see here, just a couple ornaments and a bunch of silver dust from Dismantling Mask. We've got the original Sparrow Racing book, which I'm guessing they're going to do a Volume 2 when that rolls around, because it says Volume 1, so I'm guessing they're finally going to get Volume 2 and they'll do a whole book for it, with records, which is pretty cool. In terms of my Rise Wine record book, I still haven't completed this yet, I'm nearly there, but I haven't actually set out to complete any of the challenges in here. I'll just do them kind of accidentally. I just play the game naturally and see what gets done, but I still need to do 2 more strikes and 5 missions on Heroic. And then over here, we've finally got my ranks. We've got things like the Cryptarch at 181, the Vanguard at 81, Crucible just hit 100, and Dead Orbit 192. So there we go. That is a complete look at my Hunter and everything in the inventory. Hopefully that's answered a lot of the commonly asked questions about the items and what perk rolls, where I get them from and stuff like that. Be sure to comment down below your character and what level he is and some of your favorite items that you use on a regular basis. Let me know if you want to see videos going through my Warlock and Titan characters as well, which are my alts. Obviously my Hunter is my main, but I do play my 3 characters very differently to each other. I don't use the same things across all 3, so I've got pretty unique loadouts that I think play best on them. But do let me know in the comment section if you want to see my Titan and Warlock characters as well. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, a like rating would be much appreciated, and I'll see you guys in the next one.